everyone, it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary. Today is Thursday, October 14th, 2021, and Rodney, our bull snake, who you are all familiar with from many previous videos, the one that we got from Snake Discovery, wanted out of her enclosure today, and so I set up a food challenge for her in a different enclosure. But when I let her out, I turned my back for just a minute and she got away from me. And she climbed down out of her enclosure and behind the enclosures. And she is now down here under the enclosures and under the filing cabinet. And so we're just gonna move her food acquisition challenge to the floor right outside of where she is. And we're gonna use that as a way to recall her out from hiding underneath this file cabinet. As you can clearly see, while I went and got her food challenge items and moved them from the enclosure I had them in over to where she was hiding, she had made her way up into the file cabinet. And when I didn't see her underneath it anymore, I started opening drawers and I found her in this top drawer. So obviously right now I could clearly just pick her up and I could move her to the exercise space where I intended for her to do this foraging exercise, or I could easily pick her up and put her back in her enclosure. But I didn't really feel that that was necessary. I already had this food acquisition challenge set up for her, and so I thought I'll just go ahead and let her proceed with that. It doesn't matter that I can just go ahead and pick her up now. I know where she is, she's safe, and I'm sitting here monitoring her. So I've got a rodent under this black dome, and the only way to access it is through that tube, unless she figures out a way to flip the dome over. And I have a second rodent inside a box that is inside that orange cardboard container. So one of the rodents is under that black dome, and the only two ways that she could access it are through the red tube to get underneath the dome, or if she figures out a way to flip the dome over off the floor. And then the second item is a box within a box puzzle. So she has to go inside that orange container and then get inside another box that's inside that to get the rodent. And then that white basket with the red thing inside it is just a decoy. I've scented it, and it's just there as a distraction and as just another enrichment item. So she could follow the scent trail into that white basket and she can investigate that area and see that there's no rodent there. Now, she did not end up doing that. She's really experienced at exercises like this. Although this black dome with the tube in it, it's the first time she's seen this particular exercise. And I can see that it's a huge challenge for her because she is just going crazy trying to figure out how to get under that black dome. And she does a lot of approach and retreat and a lot of circling around it. But ultimately, I guess she picks up the scent of the rodent that's in the box, and she ends up going for that one first. And that's what you're going to see here. And you can definitely tell when she has gotten into that second box that's within this first box, because you will see her body language change, and it's very clear that she has her prey. After having successfully done the box within a box puzzle, Rodney comes out of the orange box, and I think she considers going for the dome again, but decides that it's just too difficult. And there are lots of other scents that are competing with the scent of the rodent under the black dome. There's dog hair on the floor because I had just clipped our poodle terrier mix, and there's the scent of other snakes on the floor. And so she ended up taking off and cruising underneath some of the other enclosures. And I just moved the dome exercise over near where she was, and she caught the scent of the rodent under the dome. And it was a little bit easier for her the way that I situated the exercise in relation to where she was to figure out to go through the tube in order to access the rodent that was hidden under the dome. So she did that successfully. And then she decided that she, I guess, liked sitting under that dome, or basically just that she didn't want to go back to her enclosure. Now, I've got her shift box set up at the end of the tube. She's got choices here. She can come out of the tube and into her shift box, which would indicate that she is ready to go back into her enclosure. Because after many sessions, she has learned that when she's ready to go back to her enclosure, if she goes in this white container, that is her ticket back home. And she actually does that. Sometimes it's after just an hour or two, and sometimes it's all day or all evening. But if she's in an exercise space or an exercise tent or in an activity and she's decided she's done, she will go into her shift box and she will wait in there for me to lift it up and to lift it into her enclosure. You notice I don't have it pushed up flush with the tube, and that's because I am giving her a choice here. She can choose to go in her shift box, or she can choose not to. Actually, what she ends up doing is giving me a clear indication that she is not ready to go home because she ignores her shift. She didn't ignore her shift box. She investigated her shift box, and I don't know what was going through her mind, but she ultimately did not go in her shift box, and she starts exploring around the area again and sniffing around the dome. She does eventually leave the tube and the dome area, and she goes back towards the other location where I had the box exercises. So this was her telling me, I'm not ready to go back yet. Well, Rodney did not want to be put up, as was indicated by the fact that she never went into her shift box, which she knows when she goes into her white shift box that she gets put up. And she often does that by choice after she's been out in an activity for several hours or all day. But I have to feed horses and do other chores, so I just went ahead and picked her up tonight, and I'm putting her back.